Hello there, Libras. Welcome to your tarot reading. I'm going to relay some important information for you guys, and then we'll pull out the spread for this month and go into the reading for this month. The first message that I have here is, I'm seeing the scale, right? Like the sign that represents you, the scale. But I feel like it's an electronic scale. And they mention measurement and dosage is very, very important. A lot of you might be working in a laboratory, or you are doing something relating to the healthcare industry, or even related to the biological sciences, or even physical sciences, where you have to measure, where you have to weigh, where you have to portion things out in a way that is fair and that is, I guess, appropriate. So they're saying be very, very careful when it comes to measurement. Make sure that you are using, standard measurement, making sure that you are careful with dosages. So if you are taking medicine for whatever reason, or prescribing medicine, or giving somebody medicine, being very careful that, you take their body weight into, or body mass, body weight into account, you take their age into account, so you can give out appropriate dosage, okay, and especially in the medical setting. And then for others of you who are students, who are working in laboratories, who are doing recording data as well, making sure that your data, that you, that you include the unit of measurement, and that you are using a standardized unit of measurement, so that people who are looking at your data, they don't get confused as to what unit you are using. Okay, so if, for example, it's in centimeters, keep all the measurements consistent in centimeters if you're on the metric system. If not, making sure the appropriate unit of measurement is indicated clearly on the paperwork. We are heading into a very intense Mercury retrograde period that is happening for the month of August. Okay, it's going to continue into September. And so being extra diligent when it comes to reviewing our work and making sure that numbers are entered correctly, unit of measurements are entered correctly, that is very crucial for you guys. For this month, they mentioned that some of you have 2 jobs that are coming in for you. And I feel this deals with the younger people that are watching, the younger Librans that are watching. So if you're like, let's say, if you're under the age of 30, I feel like you have some friends that are coming to you and they're like, hey, there's an opening at my job. You want to apply for this position? So, you are a very people-oriented sign. And I feel like you want to work with your friends. You want to work with people that you already know. And you want to have that safety net type of you want to have that sense of camaraderie. And you already want an established social connection in your work environment. So some of you might opt for accepting that job that your friend is telling you about, even though there are other jobs that might pay a little bit more. So it can go one of 2 ways, but I feel many of you will take a job because you already know somebody there, or even relying on your social connections in order to land new jobs. Okay, so you have some really good things for you coming through for this month. I guess the third message then is they mention God-given skills, talents, leading to a career path. So this is a really, really good message I feel coming through here. So I feel like, for example, your parents might be teachers, right? Or your parents might be academics. And so you're just biologically, you have inherited, a lot of intelligence, a lot of meticulousness, and also that sense of love for education, love for, learning. And automatically you find yourself in academia, doing work in academia. And then for others of you, it's almost like you have some God-given talents. And it's something that you've always thought about as, oh, it's just a hobby. I just fix cars on the side. I build motorcycles on the side. I build computers on the side. Or I collect rocks on the side. And I feel like some of these God-given talents are there for a reason. And it can be cultivated to become like a career path for you guys. So for example, you have a rock collection. You naturally know a lot about rocks. Maybe going into geology You know, going into earth science might be a good career field for you, because whereas other people have to struggle twice as hard in order to retain the information, you're already naturally interested in it, and so you're not going to have to struggle so hard. And then others, I feel like you might love tinkering with things, taking things apart, putting things back together. And so moving away from that and, you know, cultivating something that we are already born with, or natural capabilities or natural talents that you already have, and making that into a career, making that into an income generating potential, making that into like something that can really work for you financially. This is the month where you can re-examine these things, okay? And I honestly feel some of you, they're saying like natural psychic capabilities as well. You might have very strong dreams, premonitions, and you might have prophetic dreams as well. And they're saying like, you know, why not build that into a career? Why not cultivate these innate talents that you already have? Take the next step to make it into a career path for you. All right. The other thing that I am seeing here, and I guess this would be the fourth message, emotional spending and delayed gratification. Okay, emotional spending is it's sort of like emotional buying things on an impulse, things that you want rather than things that you need, and not being very clear about saving up for a rainy day, and not being very clear about how much money is realistically leaving. So when we are emotionally tied into an object, we want to possess it, we want to buy it, and we might not think about the long-term financial ramifications of these actions. So I want you to be a little bit careful when it comes to spending, and I want you to be a little bit careful when it comes to like asking yourself, do I really need this, or do I just want it? And in the past, if you have had a habit of impulsive spending, you want to really think about like, you know, where am I going to put it in my house? You know, is there space for it? Where is it going to be 3 months from now? Am I still going to touch it? Am I still going to use it? Am I still going to like it? So asking yourself more long-term questions about the viability of purchasing something, I feel is going to be very crucial, so that you can steer away from emotional spending, so that you can start saving your money, and that you can, you know, start to build up your reservoir of wealth, okay? I feel overall you are dealing with somebody who is emotionally very, very up and down. And I feel like they swing from one end of the spectrum to the next. You know, they can be very joyful and then very down in the dumps the next day, from 1 minute to the next. They can also be very like very pushy, very assertive, and then completely passive aggressive the next. So I feel like somebody, it deals with emotional moderation, and it feels to me like you're dealing with somebody who's very, very inconsistent. So like they might get mad at someone for one reason one day, and then the next day they think it's hilarious and they laugh it off. So I do feel this emotional fluctuation concerning a person around you that you are dealing with. I feel generally, Libras, you are very even keel when it comes to the way you express yourself and the way that you feel about things. But this energy I feel is coming in from around you, and it's also indicating as well having difficulties dealing with this person on a prolonged basis, okay? So let me see if there's anything else that I've written down here on my little notes on the phone, and then we'll go into your question. So one last thing that I want you to be very careful about. And, you know, Libras, you're very like just inoffensive. You want everyone to get along, and you want to maintain peace, harmony, and beauty in your environment. And I feel like a lot of the times too, you might have held your tongue, mainly because you want to maintain that sense of harmony. You don't want to upset anybody. You don't want to, you know, hurt people's feelings as well. But I feel that when we behave in that way, in such a passive manner, we tend to also attract people who are very emotionally volatile. And so this is the month in which you are going to need to speak up for yourself. Not so much defend yourself. You're going to need to speak up to put other people in their place. because I feel like they are behaving in a very inappropriate way. And so, playing the Mr. Nice Guy, that's not going to fly anymore for this month. And there will be situations that you have to confront. And I feel that you need to be very clear. We don't have to be abrasive and mean when we say things, but I feel like if it escalates and you don't do anything about it, it might lead to that point of no return where you get so emotionally worked up that you say things that you might not, that can be said in a sweeter way. Okay. So I feel that communication is going to be very crucially, important for this month. Communicating things early on when problems come in. Don't be conflict avoidant, and especially speaking your mind, saying your piece, so that things don't snowball and then it gets to the point where feelings are really touchy and the environment is so tense that one thing can blow things out of proportion. Does that make sense? So let me first talk about this. First of all, I mentioned earlier 2 jobs, 2 income generating activities, 2 revenue streams, okay? So I feel for many of you, there are options when it comes to jobs that are coming into the picture. You might have recently left a job environment behind where you feel like they're not really appreciating me, the environment itself, there's no room for growth. I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's getting very tedious and I don't feel any opportunities for advancement. So I feel like right now you are flirting with other options when it comes to your income generating potential. And you might have 2 options that are coming into the picture for you. And I feel as well, when I mentioned that, I feel like somebody is introducing you to a employer. Somebody is bringing the job into the picture for you. And they're going to leave it up to you to go ahead and pursue the next steps. So they're bringing it to your doorstep, but it's going to be up to you to make that first move and to follow up on that, okay? So it's really important to be a little bit more aggressive, assertive, and proactive for this month. So that means if it's coming to your doorstep, you need to start to apply. You need to make things move the way that you want rather than just saying, okay, they introduce me, they know the employer, I'm going to get the job. Don't assume these things, because I feel like the job might pass you by and then there isn't communication and then, they start hiring somebody else. So if you have something that is God-given, you need to run with it and you need to be the one to follow up and you need to be the one to apply to keep that, I guess like it's sort of like an opportunity given to you. You need to make the most of it and you need to act in good faith because you are being recommended or somebody's bringing it to you. You need to be extra proactive about not severing the ties and doing things from your end in order to get things rolling the way that you want, okay? So I feel like we are looking at many, many income generating opportunities that are coming through for this month. We have here electronic communications, filling out applications, putting pieces of ourselves out there here with the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups is also like looking around, casting a wider net, looking at all the other options that we might not have considered in the past. And where you want to go is this space of total financial stability. You want to be in an environment where you can grow with the organization. You want an organization that also expands so that they have, multiple branches, multiple opportunities for career advancement. They have multiple people working for them. And the fact that they're generating wealth and constantly expanding basically means that the company or the organization is very stable. So there's a lot of money coming through. And I do feel that you want to be on the forefront of this. You want to work for an organization that is newly established and that is trying to, find its footing. And that has been even like, so that the job itself is stable so that you can stay with them for a long time. And I do feel that you are looking at all of these other options and you might have several options to choose from. I feel like the options are there. You still need to put in your candidacy. You still need to do things through a formal, traditional channel in order for you to get your foot in the door. So don't say that, oh, it's a sure thing. I know this person in the organization. I'm going to get it. I feel like we need to humble ourselves, and we also need to do things in a procedurally correct way. Okay. So that's the first thing. The other thing that I am feeling here is we have some financial concerns that are coming through. So we have here a 10 of Pentacles being reduced to the 5 of Pentacles. And this usually indicates, first of all, some type of a reduction, a significant reduction when it comes to income, okay? So for many of you, this might be moving out of the parental household, moving out of a very stable home environment where, like if you're still like a young adult and you're flying solo, you're leaving the nest, there is going to be a lot of budgeting that you need to do. So you need to find that balance between your spending, what you're making and what you're spending, so that you can continue to take care of yourself and continue to be financially independent. Because with this major drastic reduction, it's sort of like money being halved, okay? Money being cut down in half. And so we're going to need to be extra cautious about spending, and we're going to need to be extra resourceful. And so for many of you, there might have been, with the Tower here, and it's surrounded by Pentacles card. I feel like there might have been some major drastic reduction when it comes to your income. And I feel like it happened very, very suddenly. And I feel like it was unplanned for. It was not something that you anticipated. So you did not save up for the rainy day, okay? And at this point in time, you're still dealing with the residual impact. It might have happened in the month of July. You're still dealing with the residual impact. You're trying to save money, but I feel like money leaving your hands just as fast as it's coming in. So please, please, please get a rein on your spending and be very careful about buying essential items and, being very careful with emotional spending, okay? I'm also feeling there are a lot of friction here when it comes to parents. If you yourself have children, I feel like there is a lot of friction when it comes to having to deal with children and having to teach them, tough lessons about entitlement, tough lessons about being fair, and tough lessons about hard work, dedication, hard work. So if you are a parent and your children, you feel like they're relying on you too much financially, they're not able to be financially independent, I feel like you're going to have to exercise some type of tough love to allow these lessons to sink in. So you might have children that are very frivolous when it comes to their spending. You might not agree with the way they live their lives or the things that they are wasting their money on. And so this is the month in which you tighten the purse strings, because you don't want them to feel like that type of spending is okay. So you might need to tighten the purse strings. Likewise, if you have, if you yourself, if you're dealing with parents and you're still financially dependent on them, I feel like this is the month in which issues between what's mine and what's yours is going to come into the picture, where they might, for whatever, there might be some, emergencies in the household, and they're just like, I'm sorry, I can't financially help you with that. You're going to need to find your own way to do this. And so you feel like that support system, that financial support system, being withdrawn. And I do sense that it is going to be, it's unexpected. And I also feel like it's coming out in a way where it's not being done in a way that is vindictive. It's being done in a way because the other person might not have the financial resources to help you, okay? I also feel like for those of you who have recently lost a job, if you have recently lost a job, you have a few options coming through, and I feel like these are temporary options that will be able to help you navigate, for the time being, these financial changes. And these, it's a temporary job that is in the picture. It could be contract based, it could be short term, it could be seasonal, it could be temporary, but it's going to help you navigate these financial difficulties. And you should accept the job. You might be like, oh no, I'm gonna decline because it doesn't pay enough, and I'm going to look at other options. But I feel like you should accept these jobs mainly because it's gonna, you know, serve its purpose as a temporary kind of like as a temporary way for you to overcome some financial difficulties. And then I feel like once you're able to land other jobs, then you can leave this situation, and then you can continue to, you know, rebuild your wealth from the ground up. Okay. So I feel like really looking at what's given to us, being very, very appreciative, and also, you know, knowing that it's going to be very temporary. We are going to sail away from it. So it's important for us to grab opportunities on the financial front, on the professional front when they come in, without saying, oh, that's not enough for me, because I feel like you're going to need it to navigate, you know, financial difficulties for this month. So take that job, or some of you might even be taking on 2 jobs in order to, you know, I want to say like, in order to patch up like enough income for yourself to sustain your old lifestyle. I do feel for this month there is a major thinking reinvention when it comes to how you are spending your money, how you are able to achieve financial security and financial independence. Okay. I feel like Libras, you are a very, very proud sign. Okay. You're very proud. And I feel like for many of you, it's like you want to go solo. You want to take care of yourself and your own sense of independence. I feel it's quite strong. Air signs overall, it's quite strong. And so even if you are struggling with financial difficulties, you are very proud. You're not going to ask other people for help. You're just going to, you know, suffer through it and, you know, do it on your own and reduce your expenditure so that you can get through these difficult times. So I don't feel like that's the problem for you, but I do feel overall that some major restructuring when it comes to, you know, really thinking about, do I really need that, or do I just want it? And if I buy that item, is it going to be there for me long term? Am I going to use it long term? So being a little bit more cautious about where we are investing our money, where we are wasting money, that is really, really crucial. Okay. So the old ways of doing, where we are living extravagantly, where money is coming in, where we're operating from a place of abundance, I feel that you're going to need to really redefine what is important, what is an essential item, and how you can reduce spending. That's very important for you. Okay. The other thing that I want to mention here, and the first card out of the spread, we have here the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is a very, very strong emotional connection that we have with a person. This is a really strong kind of like a sense of camaraderie, okay? And I do feel there is a major relationship as well that is being re-examined for this month. The moon usually indicates information coming to light. Things that are hidden are going to be revealed to us. In this regards, it can also indicate contracts, new contracts being signed, new contracts possibly for new work being signed around the full moon or the new moon that's coming through in the month of August, okay? So I do feel like major new contracts are going to be in store for you, and major opportunities for you to meet new people that will help you in some way, that will, you know, provide that financial abundance for you as well. But I also feel this element here about significant relationships need to be re-examined. And I also feel like they mention here something about power differential, like a power struggle, a power differential. So for example, let me just, let me try to get this message out. So I'm sensing like, you might think, you know, you might have somebody on board with you and you're just like, oh, they're this way. It's like you've got them figured out. They're this way. They're like this. Consistently, they have been like this. But I also feel like you're dealing with someone who is also very unpredictable. And when the unpredictability with that person is going to come out when they are experiencing some type of external shock, okay? So you're just going to like, okay, this is, for example, this is Susie. She is always going to behave like this. Or this is Michael, who he is always going to behave like this in this circumstance. That sense of predictability is going to be taken away for this month, because the other person is going through some external shocks in their environment, and they're going to behave in a way that is very unexpected, unaccounted for. And so I feel that it's going to surprise you, okay? You think you know somebody really well, but I feel like they're going to behave in a way where they might, in the past, they might have been very supportive and emotionally available. Now they might withdraw their support and their assistance because they're not able to do it, okay? So there is some major energy here regarding emotional fluctuations that's coming through for you guys, Libra. I want you to be very careful when it comes to communication, and I cannot stress and emphasize enough the need for you guys to be completely, thoroughly independent for this month, okay? That means saving up for a rainy day. That means doing whatever you can to minimize having to rely on other people for things. So, you know, having to rely on, for example, mom, dad, or auntie for a ride, having to rely on, you know, just other people for everyday things. I feel like the more independent you are, the less of a disruptive, the less disruption will be coming through for this month, okay? And going back to dosage and measurements, I want you to be very careful if you're working in some type of a technical field, even biological sciences. Be very, very careful about dosage, about measurement, about unit of measurements, about getting the numbers correctly, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope the reading has been helpful. I feel like it's a little bit of a topsy-turvy month for you guys. So let us just go into your love reading, okay? First of all, we have here the Death card. The Death card usually indicates finality, a situation that we need to walk away, we need to move on, we need to take better care of ourselves, and we need to provide room for new opportunities to come into the picture, okay? So a lot of you have moved on from a relationship here, from a relationship partner, from a situation that I feel that, you know, you put yourself out there and it wasn't working. So you are leaving somebody behind. You have already moved on. You are still dealing with the impact of it. We have here the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is a situation where we feel kind of like that sense of betrayal, that sense of lack of support, that sense of like the other person not being truthful and honest. And it feels almost as like the revelation of the truth hurts more than, you know, like the fact that they were lying hurts a lot more than the information that they were trying to conceal. And so there was a situation that was kind of like, it's dead. It's a relationship that veered towards an inevitable end, and there's no way to recover from it. So I feel like a lot of you are still dealing with the hurts and the pain associated with a breakup in a relationship. And we have here the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups signifies that we're still hung up on something emotionally. We're not able to move on. We're not able to see all the other blessings that are left in our lives because we're so emotionally wound up and a little bit emotionally distraught as a result of a breakdown in a relationship. What is coming through, Libras? I feel for some of you, it might have happened already. In the past position, we have the High Priestess. This is revelation. When it comes to like news, information, things that have been hidden from you are basically revealed to you in a very unexpected, in a very like, I feel like it's like a last ditch attempt, or it happened in a way that is just, you can't ignore it any longer. If you have been kind of on the fence, putting your life on hold here with the Hangman, if you have been on the fence, putting your life on hold and trying to, you know, hoping the situation would get better with a significant partner, I feel that you have come across some information, some truths about lies, deception, and things like that that is happening in your relationship. And moving on for the month of August, you have already moved on, okay? Which brings us to the present predicament. We have here the Temperance card. And the Temperance card basically indicates a situation where we need to be a little bit, I want to say like a little bit more patient, a little bit more like seeing the forest for the trees. We need to really take care of our health, emotional health. We need to like not run circles. For example, if you already made this choice, you want to constantly reaffirm yourself. I made this choice because it's the right thing for me. It's for my greater good, and because, you know, staying with that person hurts too much. So I feel like a choice has already been made, but some of you are still flip-flopping back and forth. Did I make the right choice? Should I have tried harder? Could the situation have gotten better? So I feel like you're dealing with a lot of self-doubt as it relates to making a decision, and regarding walking away and leaving a relationship or breaking away from a relationship. And we have here the Five of Pentacles as well. This is a card about, you know, feeling rejected, feeling like we had to leave a person behind, dealing with the loneliness and the isolation, and not being in the right emotional state to start dating again. So I feel like you're heavily caught up in a relationship that has already ended. You're kind of you're not healed from it yet, so you're not healed from it yet. So you are still ruminating over it. You're still mourning the past, and you're not putting yourself out there. You're even like, if you are single right now, I feel like for many of you, you're not ready yet to move away. Okay. And I also feel like there might have been some recent relationship breakup. If it hasn't happened, I feel like for this month, it might come into the picture. And I feel like the person that you're dealing with, they seem to me to be very emotionally up and down. This is emotional fluctuation. This is the person that I was sensing earlier. They're unpredictable. They're doing things out of character. And you think they're one way, but they turn around and they're behaving in a totally unanticipated manner. Okay, so I feel like you're dealing with somebody that has like either very severe mood swings or very strong emotional ups and downs. And I also feel as well, if you are in a coupled relationship, there might be some financial issues that your partner is going through. You or your partner are both going through, one or the other, or both, that you're going through, that might put a little bit of a dampening effect on the relationship. So I feel like both parties might be feeling very emotionally distraught because of financial fluctuations, or you might still be financially linked up with another person. And even though you're separated or you're divorced or you have broken up, there's still financial discussions that are coming into the picture, and you just want it to be done and over with so you can move on. So I feel like there are huge elements here about finances affecting a relationship if you're in one. And I also feel like there are still residual financial arrangements that needs to be discussed with a past relationship partner. Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. We have here the Three of Wands. This is kind of like charting new territory, wanting to take new opportunities into the world. And with the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Swords is basically wanting to sever ties from the past so that you can move on with your life and you don't have this emotional, financial baggage that is weighing over you. Okay, so I feel like many of you are coming into this month single, still dealing with financial arrangements with another person, not being able to move away. And then others of you, you are definitely prioritizing your work, your financial situation, and you are not really entertaining the thoughts of dating and, you know, meeting the right person. You're not really ready yet. And then others still mourning for a past relationship and feeling kind of like on the outs. So you're not comfortable about putting yourself out there and starting to date yet. Okay. What's coming into the picture, and this is in the future position, we have here the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is a card about success. It's about getting very positive reception. It's about getting very positive accolades from other people. As it relates to dating, this is kind of like a person that is really beautiful, that is heavily sought after. And I feel like they are somebody that, they're saying here, there's somebody that is really captivating their audience. Okay, so I feel like you have somebody like this that is coming into your environment. For some of you, you might be in contact with a relationship partner, If you are separated, if you are divorced, or if they are coming in from the past, I feel like they have been very, very extravagant when it comes to their spending. And I feel like they are, it seems almost as if, there's a lot of extravagant spending from the past relationship partner. And I do feel that they're spending in a very frivolous manner, and it might have created that financial hardship from your end. So I do feel that you are seeing somebody, or you are attracted to somebody right now in the future who is a little bit more materialistic. This is the Six of Wands and the Magician. The Magician is somebody who's very like showy, you know, he or she. And I feel like this is the same person here. This is the male equivalent, and this is pretty much the female equivalent. Both of these are big spenders. Both of these are very, very center of attention, attention grabbing people. And I feel like they put on a show that they have this luxurious lifestyle. And in fact, you know, they might not have the financial resources to back it up. So once again, be very careful about your spending. Make sure you're matching up what's coming in versus what's coming out. So this need here to constantly, I feel like you're dealing with someone who's very superficial, who's very on the surface. And this is not a good energy to have, okay? It's linked up as well with the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is separation. The Three of Swords is sort of like, it's like dealing with the sadness and the regrets associated with a relationship that is ending. So it's like geographical distance, emotional distance between you and the person that you were in love with. So I honestly feel for some of you, you might experience, and I'm very sorry, Libras, I feel like there is one way in which this can play out for some of you. You might have recently divorced somebody, separated from somebody, or broken up with somebody. And you're getting some news here with the Ace of Swords. You're getting some news information here that they are moving on, and they're finding somebody that is very similar to them. Okay, they're moving on. And so the Three of Swords comes through in a situation where we come into some information that might be a little bit difficult to swallow. And I feel like you have a relationship partner that has moved on. And then I also feel for some of you that it could be like an ex-spouse at the end of your marriage, when the marriage ended. It seems almost like they told you, oh, I can't really pay child support. I can't really help you with alimony. I can't really do anything for you. And you gave them a lot of your time, of your emotional support, of your finances in order to prop them up. And now that, you know, they're already getting ahead in life, I feel like the relationship might have ended and they have a lot of money. And I feel that you're stuck footing the bill. So this is a major, big month for seeing the proper value in people and things. And I feel like not just for you, it's across the board for all the signs, because we have a lot of eclipses coming through during a Mercury in retrograde cycle. And I feel like one of the major things that comes through across the board when I did all the other signs was a lot of relationship needs to be reassessed, needs to be kind of recalibrated. And a lot of relationship problems and relationship cycles are playing out. And even when I didn't draw the love reading for a lot of the signs, the love aspect still showed up in the general reading. So I feel like for many of you, for people overall, the month of August is about seeing the proper value in people and things, okay? And I feel like for many of you Libras, you need to pull back your energy and take care of yourself and figure out how you can be very financially independent so that when people leave your life, you don't get dragged down, so that if you are very secure and firm and independent emotionally, financially, and I feel like mentally, when people leave your life, it's easier for you to accept the fact that, okay, were not meant to be. And so your self-esteem, your sense of like, your sense of self doesn't get pulled in different direction as a result of the other person no longer being in your life. Does that make sense? So it's sort of like not losing ourselves in a relationship so that when the other person is no longer there, we still know who we are, and we still know that we're not going to lose ourselves, that it's not, we're not losing any parts of ourselves because that relationship is over. We're just still whole, and we need to move on to start new relationships and to have new opportunities. Okay. I hope the reading has been helpful for you, Libras. And if this doesn't apply to you, you know, and I'm glad, because I feel like the energy is a little bit on the negative end, and I don't like to, you know, harp on that. But I hope the reading has been helpful for you guys. I do wish you all the best. If you are in a stable relationship, I feel like there might be money issues, security issues coming through. You want to be very patient with your partner, okay? And you want to be very straightforward in your method of expression. Don't wait until the last minute for things to just exacerbate, you know, for things to get big, and then by that time you're frustrated, and you know, tempers will flare. So just address issues as they creep in, rather than, you know, waiting until it's the point of no return. Okay. You're not a I want to say a confrontational sign, and I feel like sometimes it can work against you, mainly because you let a lot of things slide. You and Taurian people, you let a lot of things slide, and I feel like it's really important to address issues when they come into the picture sooner rather than later. Okay. I'll be back for the mid-month reading, Libras. I wish you the best. Take care of yourself. Okay. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.